debate. Tonight's question is, to be the best second in command, one needs to follow a worthy first. Highlight your candidate leader's abilities and how they have... highlight your candidate's leader's abilities and how they cultivated their second command towards greatness. Alright, so, Team Geek, it is time to highlight Kirk and how he cultivated Spock to become great. 2 minutes, begin.
Well, I'd like to start with a quote from Kirk about Spock. I owe him my life 1,000 times over. What's one career?
I would like to enter into evidence Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Kirk defies orders stealing the Enterprise just to retrieve Spock's body before he even realizes that Spock has been revived by the Genesis planet. Despite losing his only son, Kirk can still roll the hard 6 and sacrifice the Enterprise to defeat the Klingons in order to get Spock back to Vulcan and restore his contract. In fact, Kirk even states that had he not tried to rescue him,
God. The cost would have been my soul. The cost would have been my soul. Sorry.
I thought somebody just went to church very quickly. Go on.
Oh, my bad. He consults with Spock before every major command decision. Kirk shows Spock the ways of humanity. Kirk sees Spock as an equal, and Kirk trusts Spock to take command whenever needed. Another quote, Spock is the noblest
he is
half
the
of
noblest
myself.
half of myself.
I know, right?
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, that's plenty of time. Kirk and Spock were recently listed as a power couple in the 101 most influential... Kirk is also one of the only people who has made Spock smile. Kirk is the only one historically who can move Spock emotionally. This invariably helps him understand humanity, leading to his later success as a diplomat during the Kinnamur Accord, various peace missions, and the repatriation of Romulus.
And the last quote, you have been and always shall be my friend.
Now going over to the nerds. Nerds, same question. Highlight Palpatine and how he cultivated Darth Vader to become great. 2 minutes, please begin.
The Emperor didn't forcibly take over the Republic. They asked him to do it. He bided his time, put all the pieces together, and the Republic just handed over the Empire. That's how awesome he is. Palpatine was the Sith that managed to accomplish a 1,000-year plot to overthrow the Republic and Jedi order from within, and succeeded. Palpatine also is always challenging Vader by placing him in deadly situations, and every time with the full intention that Vader will die. And that's how much he does. What kind of challenging boss is that? Seriously.
Now, Palpatine actually ordered the droids to keep Vader awake the entire time he was being reconstructed. And that way, the sheer agony of the whole procedure would actually fuel his rage and turn it into power. That's the kind of boss he is. He wants you to feel pain at every single moment, because that's the way the Sith are. Now, even Vader's construction was actually a challenge, because arguably, Vader's challenge was shoddy on purpose. General Grievous had gone through the same procedure, and we've all seen General Grievous. He's freaking fast. He's huge. He's amazing. When Vader started using his armor, he couldn't really move. He couldn't really see. He had to adapt. He couldn't use any of his Jedi lightsaber skills, so he had to adapt, and he had to create a completely new one using all of the different versions. And this is my favorite story. One of his earliest missions, when he still couldn't move, he had to fight 6 fully trained Jedi Masters. 6. He couldn't move. All he could do was this. And then one of them cut off his hand, so he used his severed hand to fly around and sever the 6 Jedi.
Talking about the Emperor here, this guy, to counter a point from earlier, that he does listen to suggestions. When he asks Vader to hunt down and kill Skywalker, the son of Skywalker, Vader says, why don't we just turn him to our side? He could be a powerful ally. To which the Emperor's like, that's a good idea. I wish I would have thought of that myself. And he allows Vader to carry this out. That's great management. That makes him an excellent number 1, in my opinion.
30 seconds. Sorry to freeze you up there.
Yeah, that's okay. But, I mean, just his management style overall, the way that he just allows his subordinates to do their thing, Vader being number one and allowing him to really run the show. Knowing that Vader's got everything under control, that he's totally capable, and he'll keep the local star systems in line.
It's a big galaxy. It's a big, big galaxy.
Let's hear it for the nerds! I like how you're talking about Darth Vader as if it was like high school drama that you heard. It's like, this one time, I swear, Darth Vader. You should have seen
Happen.
Yeah. Was that Christie's party?
Yeah, that shit.
Yeah. All right, so we are at, oh, this is gonna be fun. Round 4. Who would win in a fight? Let the machinery and green blood fly. Geeks, you are up first. How would Spock defeat Darth Vader? 2 minutes, please begin.
While attempting a slingshot maneuver to go back in time and save humanity from, oh, let's go with Borgified Nazi whales, the Enterprise is accidentally shot through a wormhole and end up a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Ensign Ricky beam down to the nearest planet. And the sudden appearance of 4 people out of thin air startles the emotionally charged Sith, who chokes out and kills Ensign Ricky.
Ensign Ricky!
Commercial break, star wipe in. Kirk shoots a stun beam. Vader attempts to block, but the irregularity of the Nadion-based phaser beam causes the saber to flicker. Spock theorizes that a phaser beam on kill could short-circuit the laser-based lightsaber. Nadion particles, the source of phaser energy, are unique particles capable of liberating atomic nuclei and disrupting nuclear forces. While lightsabers can absorb or deflect standard lasers and marginal amounts of lightning, a sustained beam from a phaser set on disintegrate would quickly overload the focusing gem, causing the saber to short out. More logical to simply switch the phaser to a wide beam setting. A lightsaber blade a few inches in diameter would be unable to deflect the 4-foot across beam, easily neutralizing Vader.
Let's just say it's ship to ship. Vader has never proven to be able to choke someone more than a few thousand miles away through a view screen. Okay, so having done his research, Spock would logically keep the Enterprise at a far enough distance to fight the Imperial Army. Now, due to science, lasers can't penetrate any shields, even in the original Enterprise. So while they're bouncing off the shields, the Enterprise would simply disable the Imperial Star Destroyer, probably the fleet as well, and beam Vader into the sun or out of his suit, which will cause him to obviously suffocate in about 2 seconds.
All right, I'm gonna have to stop you there. We have rough and coarse sand being turned in. Team Vader, what do you care to rebuttal?
It just seems like Spock didn't do all of his research because the turbo lasers on a standard Star Destroyer, it's a kind of a misnomer. They're not actually lasers. It's highly charged Tabana gas. So it's really more of a plasma blast than anything. A few thousand of them could probably get through those minuscule shields on, I don't know, even a Galaxy-class ship, which the NCC-1701 is not.
The Ferengi use plasma-based weapons.
Alright, Dave, you're not rebuttaling here. Thank you for your technical hoobity-hoobity-doo. No problem. Alright, we are going back to the Geeks. I'll give you 30 seconds to wrap things up.
Very well. Vader and Spock have agreed to meet and use only handheld devices. Vader chooses his trusty lightsaber, but first, he's tricky. He begins to choke Spock. Spock, of course, grabs his neck. Vader doesn't realize Spock is 3 times stronger than a regular human being, and Vader is only using just enough to choke a regular human being. Spock whips out his handheld device, an electromagnetic pulse emitter. He simply pushes the button, gives Vader a wink. Vader's legs collapse beneath him. The right side of his body collapses, his entire system shuts down, and he dies.
Fight we have ever seen. Let us go to Team Nerd and Vader. How would Vader defeat Spock in a fight? 2 minutes, please begin.
Hey Michael, you're all clear, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home.
I got this. So, okay, even if it is, let's start at the top and go our way down. You start ship to ship. I'm sorry, but I just don't think that the NCC 1701, measuring in at a measly 225 meters long, is going to be able to stand up to the Executor Star Destroyer, which is 19,000 meters. And you know what? Let's handicap Vader a little bit. We'll put him into just an Imperial class Star Destroyer, 1,606 meters. You know what? I'm feeling really generous today. Let's just put him in a Victory class Star Destroyer, which are usually only used for basic patrol maneuvers, which come in at a really piddly 900 meters. But let's forget all that stuff. Star Destroyers and Galaxy class Federation ships aside. Let's go one-on-one, okay? So Spock brings a phaser. So he fires his phaser, which Vader is just gonna soak with the Force. He doesn't even need to draw his lightsaber. He'll just suck the energy in, much like Yoda or Palpatine does to a lightning blast. It's nothing next to the power of the Force.
It's a standard Jedi ability.
Incredibly standard. Like, passe. Sort of.
He can deflect orbs or blaster energy.
Not even all that interesting, if you ask me.
So passe.
So, putting weapons aside, let's just go hand to hand. Spock tries his trusty Vulcan nerve pinch, but that's not going to work on a guy like Vader. Even if you make it past the armor, the mechanics, and the leather, okay? Have you ever left a baked potato in the oven for too long? That gets incredibly thick and hard. It's like all that tenderness is just gone. That is what Darth Vader is underneath that suit.
You have about 30 seconds.
And regardless of Spock's 3 times human strength, whatever, Vader he's a Jedi and he's the Terminator. He is both of those things at the same time. Even if you use an EMP, he's still got the Force. All of this technology, all of this reliance on scientific method and all this crazy stuff that they seem to just be making up, if you ask me. Completely insignificant next to the power of the dark side.
All right. I love that the Prince of Technobabble just dissed Technobabble.